Hello. How's it going? Happy Wednesday. I can't believe it's already Wednesday. Let's see. Oh, I had that good. So, how was your weekend? It was kind of cool. I actually worked at home Tuesday. So, I was home for like 3 days in a row, which is great. Didn't have to drive in. So, I finished my fabric for the pants No.1, and I'm feeling a little better about them looking, not so quilty and patchy. But yeah, I know they're looking quilty, and they're gonna look quilty and patchy, but it's an experiment, right? Hey, Rachel and Malin, how are you guys, gals? What you guys been sewing? Hi, Terry, how are you? Good to see you guys. And so when I went to finish on Saturday, after I ate some lunch, I just ended up continuing. So like, where did we left it like right here, right? I sewed one half of it, right, with the solid on the bottom. And then I just continued and then flipped it upside down. So see, these cats are upside down upside down to each other. Hey, Summer, how's it going? Welcome, welcome. And I can also probably cut these out at the same time now. And so that's what I decided to do. I just decided to like use this as the bottom here. I kind of line it up. See, there's the solid. And then I also washed this whole thing as one piece. I had like almost the perfect amount of pieces left to make the other half of this. I was so happy. I think I had to sew one strip together, and then I found a strip on the floor over there, so I wouldn't even have had to do that. Hey, Levon, how's it going? Welcome, welcome. Yep, exactly. Hello, Ray. Ray, I'm sorry I didn't reply to your email. I don't know why. It's kind of hard for me to do that now when I'm not here. I've actually been really good about, trying to make work hours. It took me years to get there. So. Oh, a cover. Oh, baby grand piano. I was like, your husband's new baby grand. I was thinking like grandbaby. I'm like, but wouldn't that be your grandbaby? Oh, cool, Rachel. That's awesome. Yeah, exactly. That's really cool. I think that's the kind of sewing I'm doing like a little bit more of, is the stuff that's really functional to my life. And, having a different house now, it has different needs. So, but I'm pretty excited about the thing you guys told me about on Saturday, the jelly roll the jelly roll sew along. So, Summer, what kinds of tips are you looking for? Like using your sewing machine, or what kinds of patterns to pick, or you are always welcome to ask questions no matter what I'm doing. No, Ray. It actually your email stuck with me. Trust me, that stuff's in the back of my head. My husband almost drove me by that place for sale because he really wants me to get it, and I'm like, yeah, but I don't have that much in the bank, and if I used it on a down payment for my own little place, I wouldn't have any left to live on. Because right now I'm living off the savings. So, and I don't want to do that forever. Hey, Patty. How's it going? But we went to the farmer's market up there yesterday, and we haven't been to that farmer's market. And typically, I have to admit, I love the farmer's market, and we buy a lot of our stuff from there. But he's the one that goes because I just don't really like going to big things like that. And the one in Chico's big. And so he usually goes on Saturdays while I'm here at work. And then, but there's one up in Paradise. And Paradise is definitely smaller now because of the fire, right? And because it's kind of now our new little closest town. We're trying to support it even more now by shopping up there and helping any way we can with their rebuilding effort. So we went to the farmers market there yesterday, and then I was like, I don't want to go home. It's nice to be out of the house and not at my office, even though I typically just love just being at home or my office, and that's it. And he's like, all right, well, let's go to the hardware store. You haven't been here yet to this hardware store. I was like, okay, the hardware store. And so we went there, and he was like, and I could take you by that place that's for sale. And I was like, oh yeah, you can do that. We didn't go. Louise, hello. Yeah. And Summer, you're not the only beginner here, and we all have sometimes challenges grasping things, and I think everybody learns differently. And ADHD is obviously a more significant layer to that for some folks. You don't, do some streamers have you do that, Summer? My chat's not as busy, so you can do whatever you want. I don't have any commands to prevent you from doing that. So, Jelly Roll Race, that's what it was called. Oh, cool, Malin. Cool. Oh, well, that's awesome, Terry. That's great. Why would I say fix it? Come on. I am chill about that stuff, Terry. The paradise population, well, pre-fire, it was, I want to say it was 40,000, 20 to 40,000. That's a huge difference, I know. But I get confused with the total population for the Ridge. They call that area the Ridge. There's lots of cities, like my parents lived in Magalia. And now the population is probably under 5,000. So, yeah, it's gone. I don't know how else to put it. I don't want to sugarcoat it. You go up there and it's gone. Like, there's crazily, like, the hardware store, totally fine, totally there. They may have had some damage that they fixed, but you can't tell. But it's the original hardware store. It's not been rebuilt. There's not much that's been rebuilt. You'll go by a big parking lot that you don't know is a parking lot, and then you'll see a huge, like the marquee, like the sign. It'll say Safeway, which is like a West Coast grocery store. I don't know if Safeways are everywhere, but there's a Safeway, and then there's like 10 other businesses listed there, and those buildings are not there, and that's very common, very, very common. Like it's gone. Yeah. So. Oh. That's okay, Summer. You can shout at me. It's a good idea sometimes. Sydney, hi. Ray, thank you. Yeah, Ray. That's decimated. Yeah, it's crazy driving through there. There's like, I remember like there was a Starbucks built there right before the fire. And I'm not a resident of there, so I'm not up on all the things that are new there or their town's like controversial things. But I do remember hearing from a couple folks like, they're building a Starbucks and there's a lot of little coffee shops here, and that Starbucks is probably going to put a big hurt on those little coffee shops. And then ironically, the only thing that survived was the Starbucks over there. And so, you know, thankfully something survived for the people that are still there, but at the same time, it's just like, God, the irony, you know? So, oh, yeah, that Whiskey Town fire was legit. Oof. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, we don't have to talk about this fire. I did not go through that fire. People have suffered far more than me, so, ooh, cool, Terry. Ooh, I love it. Okay, so here's my patchy fabric, right? And today I am cutting out 2 patterns by 100 acts of sewing. You guys have heard me talk about Sonia Phillip. She's really awesome. She's done a lot for, you know, getting a lot of people into sewing and body positivity and color and print positivity. She's a super responsible human, and I really respect and admire her. And her patterns are very, very simple. They are great for beginners. They're very versatile, and they come in a lot of sizes, which is really great. I'm wearing the, I think it's tunic No.1. It's a very simple pattern, and in today, the fit of it for me, I have this classic issue with all my things that they will bag in my lower back. This happens to me in everything. You guys all, everyone who's been here knows this happens to me. It's probably because my hips probably sit forward and it's really hard to see that. So I put a dart across the back and you probably can't even see it. But today I just stitched, I like put it on my dress form, pinched it out and just stitched it down. Like I did the like, most basic hack to it. And now it's like, it's great. And so it's just a little top. Very simple. The sleeves to put this in, for this are really easy for a beginner because they're not a classic cap where you have to ease it in. So, look at those huge question marks. I love it. That's so cool, Terry. I love that your husband's reaction put your over the top. I say what you're thinking. What do you mean? Yeah, her patterns are good for beginners. Exactly. A quick history on how I came to sew and what led to make. Oh, see, not see. Don't you just love autocorrect, Summer? That one is so frustrating because the word see is a verb as well, and it actually works in a lot of sentences that you're trying to use sew in, so it's really confusing. Quick. I've been doing this for a long time, for like over 30 years. I've been sewing for easily over 30 years, and I did go to design school right out of high school. I went to FITM in LA. I came to sewing extremely reluctantly in high school, and I fought it, and I got out of it, and then I got in the class again, couldn't get out of it. Ended up really realizing that I had a natural knack for construction and engineering and thinking about things inside out. So I went to design school to be a pattern drafter, and that's what I did. I worked in the garment industry in the like heyday of a lot of interesting factories that were still here in California. So I've actually gotten to work mostly at places that had factories, which was a tremendous amount of good experience for me because I was one of the only students at my school that knew how to sew when I went through design school. So I did that, and then I ended up in the outdoor industry, which was great because that really pushed my skill set because I did a lot of technical stuff and technical fabrics. I got to really delve into like articulated garments. So if the user was going to be in a position like holding a paddle and sitting in a boat, I could make the garment fit the person the best while they were in that position. So I got to, really like get into the engineering side of it, and I loved it. I was freelance for 11 years, and I had a ton of clients, and the variety is I can't even stress the variety. It was pretty incredible. Then I started my own product-oriented business of bags for knitters and crocheters called Chicken Boots. That went really, really well because no one was doing what I was doing, and especially because I was designing the things that myself. I wasn't using free patterns out in the world or other people's patterns. And let's see. And then the production got really hard. We got a little big in a good way, but at the same time, I had one sewist. I did not want to hire more. I actually tried. I did want to hire more, but that was another challenge. And I found a small local factory through a vendor of mine. And that went pretty good, but they were very inexperienced managing it. The sewists were amazing, but the new managers weren't very good at managing. They didn't really know a whole lot about garment manufacturing. And then they closed and didn't tell me. And they also doubled my prices right before that. And then my sewist went freelance, which was fine. It was great because she and I tried to scale it back. And then the fire happened and she lost her whole studio. She lost her home and her studio. And my parents did, and my brother did. And then I went, you know what? I'm just going to put this on hold, the whole Chicken Boots business on hold. And so I had been gaming for a couple of years, like gaming, like PlayStation gaming. And I found streams. And I'm a really big Twitch addict. I love Twitch a lot. And I just really wanted to help people sewing. And so I decided I would start streaming. And this was before the fire. So I was doing it on the side for fun. And then when the fire happened and I decided to just you know, let my sewist do whatever she wanted to do. Let her, like I had to give her permission. It wasn't like that. I just definitely immediately took the pressure off of her. And because she didn't have any supply, like she didn't have anything. And her machine that I sold her was gone. So I didn't have another machine. And it was just a good time to put it on pause. So anyway, that's where I'm at. I decided to close it a little over a year ago and stream full time and start making all the chicken boots patterns into home sew patterns. So that's about as quick as I can go, but you can ask me questions about my experience if you want. And YouTube is the best platform for DIY, even though Twitch is very near and dear to me. I have simultaneously streamed to both, but right now it doesn't work. So that's where I'm at. And I have done this forever. Like I've done pattern drafting and garment design and fit, and I love production. So anyway, anywho, that's really cool, Terry. I am so glad your husband's like, okay. All right, so anyway, so we're making dress number 2 and pants number 1. And look at her new packaging. So snazzy. Very cool. So this is it. And I have made dress number 2 before, and I did it for Hearts Fabric, and it turned out really cute. I did like a pleated sleeve hem and I think a pleated skirt hem. So if you want another dress number 2 sewing option and those mods, that's on YouTube as well. Yeah, and if you're new here, I have a website. It's really much easier to find all the videos in their order on there because YouTube's a little bit funky. So, and that's so.live. So just go there and look at the garments I made, and then you can see that if there's however many videos, if I've made it 4 times, there's going to be each video series there, and then you can find them in chronological order. So anyway, all right, let's get to it. So this is my friend Maria's pattern. I asked her, I was like, yo, I don't really need more clothes. Would you like me to make you anything from 100 Acts of Sewing? Because I know she has her pattern. And she said, sure. And so that's why I have her fabric here. And then we'll be doing this dress number 2 for her, which looks like a shirt in all the pictures I find, but it is a dress. So. And then I'm going to be doing these pants. So I made the fabric on Saturday because I'm trying to challenge myself and make something that doesn't look too quilty. So this pant pattern, I was going to start with the shirt, but I already have this fabric laying here. This pant pattern is I'm using the size medium for me. The side seam, can you see, is perfectly straight. There's no taper to it. This is the side seam right here. And so that means you can actually cut this all in one. Just like this. Right? So I'm going to overlap. I actually don't remember her seam allowance. Anyone? Anyone? Yeah, you're welcome, Summer. All right. On my website, not really. I've thought about doing it and doing it through Zoom. I have some short how-tos, and there are some very basic things in there that are really, I feel like are really important. So, thanks, Burr. You do, huh? That's awesome. Okay, let's see. What's the 1/2 inch seam allowance? All right. Yeah, I know this stuff pretty good. I make mistakes though. I do. Like, they will tell you, and they love it when I make mistakes. They're kind of like that, but they're really nice people on the whole, I promise. All right, I'm gonna draw a 1-inch line here, because that's 1/2 inch plus 1/2 inch for the seam allowance. And then that's how I'm going to overlap my pant. I'm going to use some removable tape. The only reason I'm doing this is because why not keep the patchwork as the integrity of it as much as possible, like keep it kind of seamless. if this were a contoured line, if it wasn't too contoured, you could still overlap it and get rid of the side seam, but it's not, I don't recommend it in most cases, okay? It is nice to have shape through here. Like I know leggings are often no side seam. Also do this not on lumpy fabric so you can, you know, do it straight. Oh, I didn't, Louise. That's cool, Summer. I like to hear that because I think that that would be fun. I wouldn't mind doing some of that. And then I was thinking about even just doing that for Patreon folks and just saying, hey, do you guys want to like hang out and sew and chat, and we can just go over things. There's so many really great people out there with great content, and I am all about promoting other people too. I know that's probably not the greatest for my channel, but at the same time, like, I don't really think I need to redo everything that's out there. I'm not paid by anyone, so I can do whatever I want in my garments, but I do get a few people that are like, why did you sew this not like the directions? And it's like, because I didn't want it like that. So I'm open to sponsorships and stuff like that, and I love them when we have them. But I will do whatever I want so that I get the garment, because I don't need any more clothes. Would you be interested in that, Melon? Yeah, I would be kind of into it. I think it'd be kind of fun. I really enjoyed doing it with Sarah Watts for the Crafted Moon, her Crafted Moon instruction series. Wait. Wasn't her, it was Crafted Moon's her business, but what was her series? I did the illustrator class, but it was for quilt design, which I'm not a quilt designer. All right, this is a little wider than my table. My table definitely suffers a little bit here. So I'm just going to, I think I'm going to pin this. I never pin things, but because I'm going to have to kind of slide it onto the table, slide it back and forth, I'm going to pin stuff. I'm also going to, I'm pretty sure I'm going to line these pants. I have this white cotton that I got from, I bought it from Stone Mountain and Daughter. I've gotten some rayon Benberg lining from Hearts Fabric, and I'm kind of all out of that. So I got some cotton stuff. So that way all these seams aren't uncomfortable. I just don't want these pants to get really heavy, you know? So. Hi from Texas. Hi from California. You would pay for Zoom lessons? That's awesome. Yes, the lingo. Yeah. Yeah, right? Right, Penny? I agree. I feel that way, but a lot of other folks don't feel that way. So, I'm glad you're here, retired. So what? Yeah, that's awesome. Wait, I was going to say something else, but I saw. Oh, the lingo thing. You know, yeah, I'm not, I don't feel like everyone should have to use the lingo. Okay, is this going to bug me that that's not straight? I'm not sure. Like, the green line's a little, like, the green line's a little questionable on this one. Oh, cool, Melon. I think I've heard of that person, Millicent Joy. Hi, Barbara. How's it going? All right, so let's go for it. Actually, let's not go for it. I'm gonna like lift this up and look at my, you know, cause see, like I said, I just kind of folded it on this here, so I'll have a little bit of the solid on the bottom. Let me put everything under the camera so you can actually see. Let me get rid of all this right here. Like this. Don't these look short? So one thing I want to do, and because I'm getting rid of the side seam, it might be a little trickier to do this. is I would like a big slit up the side. I saw this woman probably in her late 60s walking down the street the other day in these like white linen cropped pants, and she looked so smart. She had this, there's a big slit up the side. They just look really cute. Yeah, I think so, Sydney. I think it's crooked too, but I'm trying to decide what I'm going to decide is the grain line. So yeah, I think you're right. See that? Here's my line. Let's straighten it out a little bit. So anyone who hasn't cut out pants before, your grain line is usually perpendicular to your hem right here. And the grain line on pants is kind of important so you don't get that torque around your legs, because sometimes the leg can pull. So, yeah. Oh, really, Summer? Yeah, so maybe there needed to be like a pre-beginning sewing class, right? I would be totally into that. So one of the things, like what I was saying about Sarah Watts, Sarah Watts is a fabric designer. Oh, she's an artist, but she's, you know, you guys know her from Cotton and Steel, originally one of the founders of Cotton and Steel, and now they have Ruby Star Society, and I really love her stuff. I like her attitude. What do you think, Sydney? See, that is more parallel. So this one's barely off. You guys can probably see it better than me on the camera. Yeah, exactly. So, right, Malin. So the length grain is the one that runs parallel to the selvage of the fabric, and the selvage is the finished edge on your fabric. So if you're at the fabric store and you're getting a piece of fabric cut and it's on a bolt and they're rolling it off the bolt, the edge that they're cutting is the cross grain, and the length grain is perpendicular to the cross grain and parallel to the selvage, and the selvage is the finished edge. And I will definitely, usually I'm a little better about the grain line, and I do spend time, I'll usually measure it, the arrow, the grain line. I'll measure it. Sorry, my fabric's lumpy. I pressed the heck out of it, but you know, trying to get it. I will usually make sure this is parallel by just measuring it away from the selvage. I don't have a selvage on this because I made the fabric. It does look like it's crooked right now, but we're gonna go by the lines of the patchwork. Right? I'm gonna go straight up here. Oh yeah, so what I was saying about Sarah's class, taking her Illustrator class, and she also had a Procreate class. Now, I am not a graphic artist. I just have monkeyed around with it for years. It's the one hole that's always kind of been in my skill set. And I say that like I really needed it, but I didn't. I always had graphic people to do all that stuff. Everywhere I worked, there was a team of graphics people, so I wasn't required to do that. And for a long time, you could do all your sketches on the table, like draw them, all your flat sketches, and then sometimes they'd be converted to graphics. But I really wanted to learn it, and I've done CAD pattern drafting, which is computerized pattern drafting. So it's not like I'm completely inept at that stuff. I just haven't needed it. So I never had the opportunity to really learn it. I've tried learning it many, many times. So I have like this pretty good understanding now, but I could never be hired to do it. So I just want to take her class and kind of connect all the dots, and they were really good. But what I loved about them was how intimate it was. You know, she's sitting there, there's no face cam, and she's talking in a normal voice, and she's extremely good about explaining things, including the lingo, and that's the kind of thing I really appreciate because it builds such a good foundation. I never expect people to use lingo talking to me when they would hire me as a freelance pattern drafter or designer. I never used it 100%, and I would always say, you know what that means, or not, you know. So I was really I feel like if you're communicating, that's all that is necessary. It doesn't, you don't have to use this lingo, you know what I mean? So, yeah, exactly, Barbara. Right, exactly. Oh, cool. For calligraphy, Procreate's pretty popular for that. Yeah, what's your project in your beginner class, Summer? Yeah. Oh, simple elastic waist skirt and partial head covering. Okay, cool. That. Never mind. Let's see. Yeah, so I actually was like, ooh, I wouldn't mind putting together a beginner series, kind of inspired by the way Sarah did hers, you know? And then I was like, but the face cam is really nice because I think it makes it very sincere, but I don't ever need it. I've watched so many streams without it. So yeah, right? Exactly. Yeah, because I think like the thing with sewing is people are really hard on themselves when they're learning it and they get frustrated, but I think what's not underscored is that you're not just learning how to sew, you're learning also how to use a machine. And that's a whole nother thing. So you're doing two things simultaneously, and you're learning construction and three-dimensional, construction. And so it's funny how sewing is so discounted in our world, You guys see what I'm doing? I'm just going for it, by the way. I don't know if you noticed. Whoa, wait, you went from, on your beginning thing, you're doing a knit t-shirt? That's all I have to say about that. It's my frightened face. All right. My knife's pretty sharp, but it could be sharper. And, I'm having this little bit of a abundance of blade of Olfas right now. Okay. Yeah. Toddler sizes are so little. What do you think? Look at how high this... Oh, this isn't part of this. This is different fabric. But it kind of looks like it, huh? It's going to be cute. What do you think, Sydney? Do you think it looks on the grain? Because it kind of looks a little off for me. This does, but this doesn't. All right, so, oh my God, these pants are going to be kind of funny. We're here for it, though, right? All right, I'm going to take all my pins out. I always know the front rise from the back rise because the back rise is usually long and scooped. Sometimes it's a little flatter. The front is going to be shorter and more of a shallower curve. If you need notches, you could put, 2 notches on your back and then you would be able to tell them apart. So, wait a minute. Why is that not matching? I folded this on the lengthen and shorten line because I wanted it to be a little bit shorter. There's a little bit of bias when it comes to sewing these rises. Oh, that's fine. That'll be fine, I think. Yeah, I think so too, Sydney. I was just trying to sound like, I cared, I do care. Yeah, small clothes are so tough. How do you tag someone to make their name highlight? It doesn't highlight for me. I've never been able to do it in YouTube. Yeah, 7th grade's a long time ago for me too. Wow. Yeah, yeah. I don't think it highlights. It doesn't for me. Like for me, I'm not actually looking at you guys in an administrator view. Let's see. I can though. let me see. I have like something called Control Room. I don't use it because I can't make the font bigger, and my monitor's so far away that I need big font. Yeah, right. Sydney, you're not gonna tell, right? We've got the sewing pact. What happens at so-so stays at so-so. Yeah. Yeah, I think it only highlights to the person you're tagging. All right, so this is, so I want to do my lining. I'm hoping this doesn't make them too heavy. I also noticed that this chunk I cut off, I used for a piece of binding. So look, the corner's gone. So I need to be careful of that. All right. Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's highlighted for the person you tagged, so they notice. Oh, look at this. This is no problem. I can avoid that cut piece. Okay. Yeah. This is when I wish I had a bigger table here. I think maybe one day I will, because when I can pare down even further, like all my part-time job right now is paring down a factory and all the stuff and still working at the same time. Yes, Sydney. Yeah, I am. I think I'm going to do, Sydney, is I haven't top stitched the vertical seams of my patchwork. And so I think I'm going to do that to the cotton lining and then treat it as one and then just sew it together. I'm not lining these as a separate pair of pants inside. Yeah, and so so look at the back. So I spent a ton of time trimming all of the thread on the threads off the back of this yesterday. It was a hot freaking mess. I'm not exaggerating. So that's awesome, Summer. Yeah, you're totally welcome here. It's a very, very great space here. I love these folks. Hi, Liza. Oh no. You put that machine in timeout. Yeah, so I'm going to top stitch this fabric to the cotton, and then I'm just going to treat it as one piece of fabric. So I'm not going to sew the outer and then sew the lining and then put them together. I'm not lining the pants that way. I could totally do that, but it's a little bit extra, and I really want these to how do I put it? I want the fabric to be very together. I don't want it to be separate pieces. You know what I mean? Kind of like I'm going to be quilting it. So right now I'm actually going to use this line as if it's the grain line and make sure that it's straight. So 15.5. And then I'm going to move this a little bit, which is a little harder because it's sticking. Like that. I should take out one layer of the bottoms. As long as I don't cut them by accident, it's fine. I like using the fabric when I get to, because it sticks to the fabric so nicely, you know, whereas the paper, I'd have to like weight the paper down. So the rise is this seam here. And so on pants, is this paper? This is paper, yeah. I love how I'm asking you guys. So here we go. Let's not get Sharpie on the fabric. Yeah, underlining. That's a great way to put it. Yeah. I'm gonna do lining because I don't want these seams to bug me, and they're thready. So here's a pair of pants, right? So here's the waist. This right here is the rise. This is the rise. The rise is the spot between your waist to waist. So if you went between your legs, waist to waist, that is your whole rise. So there's a front rise and a back rise, or a total rise, which is the two combined. This is the out seam. Out seam. This right here is the inseam. That's the inseam right here, which is the from the rise to the hem of your pants, or if it was on your body, it would be your crotch to your ankle bone. So that would be the inseam. But if you're saying inseam, it's usually in reference to a garment, right? Not a body part. So outseam, inseam, rise, waist, hem, and that's pretty much all of the seams of pants. And then when you're drafting pants, so when you're looking at a pattern piece, this piece right here is this piece right here. So this is the waist, this is the rise, this is the inseam, this is the outseam. And this right here would be your rise right here, just this little spot right here. It's always that curved bit where the zipper is, or your butt, the center of your butt crack. That's your rise. And it's a very tricky spot to fit because everybody is different, and is definitely the thing you'll see talked about the most when you get into like jeans fitting or pants fitting, stuff like that. What's a very nice space? Okay. All right, so I got this on here. You guys know how much I hate my head under the camera because it's the most unflattering thing. Good, yeah, and I think you can find that on the internet anywhere. Like, I don't think there's so much information out there. I was busy with a product business, so I was missing the whole home sew revolution. All right, so I'm just gonna cut these out. Now, the quilters in you guys are probably screaming at me, and you should be, because actually what I should probably do, and it's not too late, I should probably stitch this to this without cutting it out, huh? Louise highlighted me. There we go. That's awesome. Yeah, that's my name, by the way. It's Sarah Me. Yeah, maybe I should do that, right? Okay, so because there's shrinkage, right, when I want to stitch it. And so what I want to do is I actually want to stitch the fabric to the pant. So I think I'm going to do that. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut off a big chunk like this. And I'm going to cut this fold right here. I'm going to cut it off. And that's what I'm going to do right now. For now, I'm not going to cut these out. I'm going to stitch these to the fabric by top stitching these seams here. And it's going to shrink up a little bit. Phew, I caught myself. The quilters out there are like, don't do that. I just heard you guys screaming at me. So these are ready to go. We'll sew these on Saturday. I'm looking forward to having these. All right, so now we have Maria's dress. So she picked out this rayon. I think she might have had it. Lucky her. I like saving things like this. You never know. Some of it I'm not going to burden myself with, like this stuff here. Yeah. My bin is getting so full of fabric scraps. All right. Oh, really, Eliza? Oh, right. Both layers will shrink. That's true. Oh, that's awesome, Sydney. Thanks for telling her about that. Yeah, this is nice, isn't it? All right, so let's see here. I haven't even opened Maria's pattern, so let's see. What is this? This isn't it, is it? Okay, it's an inseam pocket. Oh, so it looks like she has traced her, what a responsible sewist. She's traced off her pattern pieces to this Swedish tracing paper. If you don't know what Swedish tracing paper is, I actually had never used it before, and the few Swedish people we have in chat are like, why is it called Swedish? We don't know. It's a fabric that's a lot like, it feels a lot like interfacing, non-fusible interfacing. This is it. What is this right here? This is the sleeve and it's on the fold. Okay. Oh, I meant to ask her if she wanted a short sleeve. I wonder if she wants a short sleeve. Yeah, and so I have a thing of it right here. Hearts Fabric was like, what? You've never used this? And so they gave me this roll of it. And I feel like there's a piece of paper somewhere about it. I don't see it now. Oh, here it is. Yeah, so this is it. And it says, don't cut your patterns. Trace them with this sewable pattern paper. Sew it and try it on before cutting your expensive fabric. Use it to make a durable master pattern. That used to be the name of my business, Master Pattern. Strong, see-through, and drapeably soft. I think when they say drapeably soft, they mean you can drape it like on a dress form or something like that. Hey, April. How's it going? Welcome. Oh, cool, Malin. Ooh. That's so exciting, Malin. I'm very jealous of that. Yeah, so I actually am kind of getting into this stuff. I don't do, I'm going to tell you straight up, you guys, I don't do a lot of the things a lot of home sewists do. Yeah, I think I can, Beverly. Like, I don't trace my patterns off and then cut with that traced off copy. I am a lot more cavalier about it. It doesn't mean I think that that's the right way or the wrong way. I do what I want, but I feel pretty confident that if I cut out a size and then I want to go a size up, I can actually change that somewhere along the line. It's not a big deal. So, yeah, let's text Maria and see what she says. Hi, Maria. I'm live. Do you want long or short sleeves? Oh, you gotta love it when it autocorrects to ping instead of long. All right. Okay. So here's the pattern. We'll see what it looks like here. So that's great. She has all of her sizes. See, she has all of her sizes still, so she can always trace a different size if she wants. Like I said, I'm a little bit more cavalier about that kind of thing. And then I think I have a pocket pattern sitting here that I can use. So this is dress number 2. It's a very simple dress. It does have a set-in sleeve. And it has, oh, and it has patch pockets. I wonder if she wants inseam pockets or patch pockets. Short sleeves. Okay, she's texting back. Patch or inseam pockets. So this is a patch pocket. An inseam pocket would be one that's in the side seam, and you would see it, you know, very classically on like the pants we're making. Inseam pockets. All right. Cool. She does one pockets. Inseam. Ooh, wait, I'm missing stuff. Plush pattern fitting method. Oh, yeah. I've heard that's actually, a lot of people use it for that. All right. Here we go. So when I fold my fabric, I fold it accordion style. Let me get rid of this bottom layer. So I go back and forth like this. Like this. That way when I'm cutting, I can just pull it off the top. And I don't have to unwind it. I'm going to flip it over though because I like the fold going towards me. So, yeah, isn't this great, Malin? This is, Maria sent this to me. She had it in her stash, so lucky her that she actually had a fabric that she already had pre-washed and everything. When I asked her, I was like, hey, can I sew this for you? Do you want another one of these? You know, she's like, sure. She's an amazing sewist. Okay, so this is on the fold. It doesn't look like, to me, the print is directional. I like that it looks kind of like a batik, but it's definitely not. It is a print, you can tell, because the batik would look almost the same on front and back. And that's just a style of printing on fabric. So, yeah, that's La Finch, really? They're in California, right? Wait. Yeah, LA, right? Okay. So, rayons can be a little bit like, you can see like it'll go a little crooked like this. And so I just try and pull it a little bit to straighten it out. I kind of put my hands directly across from one another, pull, straighten it out a little bit like that. Now, if your fabric, like this right here, I'm almost getting the full width here. Obviously, I'm not. If you really need to save fabric, what I would do is move this fold over a little bit so that you're positioning your piece as close to the selvage as possible, because you save that. And so that if you want to do that, you can pick it up like just this fold, just like that, to save some fabric. Now when you're laying fabric out, and can you see how crooked that end is? See that? You should make sure your selvages are parallel to each other. Don't go by this edge. This is a great tip for beginners. Always make your selvages parallel to one another. Don't line your cut edge up, because it's usually cut off grain. And everyone knows I go on a big rant about it. I don't rant about much. I really don't. I have a lot of pet peeves, but this in sewing, really, I know how to get around things. It doesn't matter. But cutting my fabric off grain, that's a pet peeve. But everyone does it, so. All right, so let's see here. And if you tell the fabric store they get offended. So it's just a fact. So. Oh, Long Beach. Okay, yeah. Yeah, LA area. Me too, Eliza. I love linen. I like, I kind of didn't like rayon for a while, and I'm liking it a lot more now, and I'm kind of disappointed in myself. So, but it just drapes so nice, you know? That's so smart, Eliza. I do too. I try and wash everything immediately. Yeah. Yeah, I know my garment fabrics from my non-garment fabrics. Yeah. Yeah, and I don't cut it, or I don't iron it always right away either. Okay, good, Summer. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I at least do the selvage sometimes so that it folds on the shelf nicer. Oh, that's perfect, Eliza, that your ironing board's there. Mine's in my usually near my bedroom. All right, so I'm laying this on the fold. Just like this. And it looks like Maria likes to serge her fabrics before she pre-washes. So you can see she overlocked it here. I'm a little off the camera. Sorry, guys. I didn't realize that. I just cut that really crooked. I felt it. It is very awkward to cut on camera. I will admit that. See that right there? I don't want to cut her pattern. So I see that little notch right there. I don't know if that is where she wants her pocket or not. So I'm just going to put a pin there just in case that's what that is an indication of. This pattern doesn't have facings, but if it did, I would notch the center back on my neck as a guide. This is the back. I can tell because of how high the neck is. Cut that off. All right, and I'm just gonna take this off. I don't really need the pattern piece with it. My creepy voice. It's funny because I definitely hold back in that arena a lot because I grew up around a mom who everything has a voice to her, like or a personality. She anthropomorphizes so much, and a little song. Like she will make up a little song about things, and I do that too, and so I try not to do it here. Bye, April. Thanks for coming. Yeah, I gotta go to work. Sorry about that. Yeah, right, Malin. Exactly. It does. It likes to stretch and move. This pattern piece, I probably should have ironed. I should have opened it up and seen that I could have ironed it. Trying to conserve Maria's fabric because, I don't know what she would do with that long section, but she could make like a tie or a scarf in this kind of fabric, Enjoy your work. No question mark. I'm just giving Ray a hard time. That's a $1,000 word. Just lucky I said it right. That's the kind of word that'll get stuck in my head. Like if I see it, I'll keep saying it over and over in my head. It drives me crazy. Do any of you do that? Or someone's name. It's like when you get a song stuck in your head. All right. Yeah, I'm comfortable with you. Exactly. I don't ever think about how this stuff lives forever on the internet too, and I probably should. But, I'm not doing anything like, accidental nudity or expletives, so I think we're good. I don't have to worry about that. Okay. So this isn't a one-way fabric, meaning, so if the print was a one-way print or a directional print, which means like say it had elephants on it, and the fabric is only right side up when you look at it one direction, that would be a directional print or a one-way print, right? This one is not, but I'm still cutting it as if it is, because it's not going to change much the fabric usage. One thing, if this were mine, I would probably do this. I'd flip this over here like this, and then I'd have this bigger piece here, and I might be able to get one sleeve out of that. You know what I mean? So let's see. She says she wants short sleeve. I could actually probably get 2 short sleeves right here if I flip this piece over. So one way to check in some fabrics if it's directional is just, literally pull it over and look at it, the other direction. And to me, I think that is non-directional, right? So Ipswich, that reminds me of that movie Chicago. You guys know what I mean? It's a command, not a request. Yes. Oh, Agamemnon. I am so with you there. Yeah, that one would be totally Agamemnon. Yeah, I'll say that in my head now. Thanks. Thanks a lot for that. Yeah, there is a someone I keep seeing in a Twitch chat, and his or her name is APOSITYS. And so I call them APO, APO. But that word, it's plaguing me. And so sometimes I'll go into a stream and he will join it coincidentally because it's the same game or whatever. And the streamer will be like, oh, hey, thanks for following, and say their stream name or their username. I think it's Apposites. That word right there is, I'm like, what is that word? It's not a real word. Is it a real word? Maybe it's a real word. And then I sit there and I just like, Yeah. There's a lot of usernames. I just can't even look sometimes because sometimes I'm like, what is that? Do I Google it? Is it real? All right, let's see how close I am. A little too close. Slide that down a little bit. Yeah, any of those. So I played a game, an Assassin's Creed game that took place in was Roman. Wait, I told you guys about that game, remember? Or was I telling Kathleen about it? It was amazing, actually. I had no idea those Assassin's Creed games were how they are. The historical stuff is really cool. There were so many names like that because Agamemnon was in that game, and I was like, there would be all kinds of these really complicated names, Greek and Roman names, and oh man, I'd go to bed that night thinking about like some character who made me go off and look for wild boars, and I'd be thinking about their name when I go to bed, So, yeah. That's what it takes for you to like me. All right. This fabric is so easy to cut compared to my patchwork pants. I don't want to accidentally get any of these other layers of this fabric. When you're placing things on the fold, you got to be kind of careful because you don't want... Let me get this cut better. I'm cutting with the fabric against the back of my blade, which is less accurate. I always like to cut with the fabric on the side of the blade. It's more accurate that way. You really want a perpendicular right here at this fold, right? If you get that at an angle, you're going to have a point at your neck or a dip in your neck, and it's the same with the hem. So even if your pattern isn't quite straight, maybe you traced it, or maybe the pattern drafter didn't do quite a good job there, you want a right angle right here. So okay, I see that notch again right there. So I'm thinking that was my clue for pocket placement. It looks about right. I'm using someone else's pattern, so I'm not sure. So let's see. We're going to make her sleeve a short sleeve. Look at all this fabric we have here. She could still make a tank top or a skirt with all this. She easily has about 1.5 yards here. So let's try and get our sleeves in here if I'm lucky. You know? I might be lucky. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, right, Penny? I'm sure. When I have songs stuck in my head, I sometimes have, I've told you guys what I have to do. I use stop thought therapy on it. And I go, stop in the middle of the song. I can't let it finish. I have to stop. And then I just try and think of something immediately and it goes away. Yeah, I'm not surprised, Summer. I am not surprised. I think I've just, came up with some coping mechanisms that have worked for me. All right, so this sleeve, if we make it short, let's see. Maria and I are about the same size. So I'm going to say, usually it's like a 6-inch, I think, or 7. Yeah, 7-inch for the sleeve length. So about right here. You want to do a perpendicular line to this fold line. I'm not a fan of sleeves on the fold. That's a little bit hard to stay accurate. So let's measure on the seam line. We're just going to draw right on Maria's pattern here. And 7 inches is about right here. So this is the length of the underarm right here. This is the cap. And I'm going to make a perpendicular line to that. I'm going to add hem allowance too. It's a little crooked there. And then we will add an inch hem. But we're going to need a flare right here so that when we fold it up, it'll work. So we'll just do this. We'll just put a sticky note back here since I'm not going to permanently change her pattern. Look at this little clever thing. And then we will have the hem shape that we need for when we fold that up. And then she can just take that off if she doesn't want it later. All right. And then we're going to fold this up like this. That, and I'll just pin this out of the way. And now we'll have a short sleeve. All right, so now let me see if this piece here is going to be big enough to do short sleeve. Woo. Maybe not. It's so close. Okay, so let's do this. We're gonna make this wider here. So I have to admit, if this were mine, I would do a cross grain sleeve just to save the fabric, you know? Let's see if this was, so close. Look at that. I could get one right here. Maybe I could. Let's see here. So close. Now I know I'm cutting it in the middle of this whole piece here, but honestly, if I can get both sleeves here, I won't be cutting it into any of that yardage up there, which is pretty preferable, you know? And that would be, it would give her more fabric in the long run. All right, let's see how far I can move. If I have a little slit here, which is disappointing. Oh, and I have a big one right here. What do we think? That's so close. I get a little determined sometimes about this kind of stuff. Let's cut this piece off. I get so determined when I'm like, ooh, can I save the fabric, you know? Let's keep it lined up. I'm going to put the print on top of itself right here. Sometimes your print kind of overrides your grain line too, just so you guys know. I think you know what I mean. Like if you had a printed stripe, you know? Okay, so if I got this one here, okay. What about right there? I mean, if I can at least get one, right? I can make the sleeve a tiny bit shorter. Nah, it'd have to be a lot shorter. I don't want her to go and come into the stream and be like, Sarah, just cut it on the cross grain. Because she totally would. Alright. Let's bring it over a little more. Right there. Alright, I think I may only get one. I kind of want to put this sleeve on a piece of paper so I'm not looking at it on the fold. It'd be easier to figure it out. I have this huge slit. See that? Oh well. Oh well. We'll just do one. We'll just do one. Doesn't that seem big enough? Maybe, Beverly. I actually did put a little of that slit into the seam allowance. I just want, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to draft it. I'm going to draft it. That way we don't have to wonder. You know? All right. I can even just rotary knife this out. Do quick and dirty. And then I'll have a sleeve. That's not on the fold. Like that. You vote for cross grain? I know, it's round, right? The print would be, so right now this is how the print is on the dress. And so if I did the cross grain, so say this was the dress, right? It is the dress. We don't have to say it's the dress, it is the dress, right? The sleeve, if I did it on the cross grain, would look like this. So, you know, would we notice that? As opposed to this would be the proper way. Isn't that funny how it probably looks wrong right now, you guys? Because the print is definitely directional that way. This is going to be a cute dress. This is original cotton and steel. Because she's a founder. Alexia. Yeah, you like it, Beverly? All right, let's see if I can, first of all, let's see if I can get it still. See, this is way easier. Okay. Ay, caramba, it's so close. This is the kind of stuff that'll drive me kind of nuts. I don't know. That feels close enough to me. I think I got it. See, putting that sleeve on there. Because, you know, honestly, what I could do is just make the sleeve shorter. You actually like it better on the cross grain? I kind of knew you guys would do that. It's pre-washed. Yeah. I mean, yeah, right. I mean, that's the thing is like sometimes you just gotta like look at it just in case there's something unexpected. Because I've made mistakes like that before, and I'm like, oh, I didn't think of that happening, you know. All right, so I can get it like this, but you guys like it on the cross grain better. Look at how easy that is. There it is. Maria is a very easygoing, trusting person. So you guys say cross grain? Because I want to blame it on you guys, so you guys need to vote. I think it's kind of cool that she would get a whole nother garment out of what's left of her fabric, like a skirt or a tank top or something. Because you guys know I do that all the time, and I feel like it looks like a completely different garment. I don't feel like, I used to think I can't make two things out of this fabric, and now I'm so about just using up everything I have. I do it a lot, and I don't even notice. All right, let me show you guys one more time. So this would be the dress, and so it would be cross grain. Yeah, the selvage is actually pretty cute. All right. Thanks for voting, Liz. I love it when someone is like not chatty is like, I'm voting on this one. I don't know if he said it that way, but all right. So this would be the cross grain. Right. That would be the cross grain sleeve. And then if it were the length grain, it would be like this. That would be the length grain. Yeah, right, Malin? I know. Okay, length or cross? There's a huge delay on YouTube, so I have to wait. Just love. See, Twitch, there's no delay. I mean, it's like that. It's awesome. I don't know how they do it. Oh, that is cool, Beverly. Yeah, it's a bonus, right? I typically, like, people will ask me, I get one question is like, okay, when you're just buying fabric, how many yards did you just buy if you don't know what you're making? And I buy 3. 3 yards. You like the lengthwise, so this way. I get how the crosswise looks great when you have your arms out, yeah. So this would be lengthwise right now. But you know, you don't walk around like this, Barbara. Would be more like that when she's wearing it. I love the fabric of this shirt, but on the camera up there, it doesn't really look that great. But isn't it cute? And look, I put this little, remember when I put this crochet trim on there? But it's bled all over. And I even found, this was the other pocket I was gonna put on my shirt. But I didn't put it on there. All right. Yeah, okay, so now you guys are going for lengthwise, so this way. Okay, cool. Let's do it. We got this. We got this. Yeah, lengthwise looked really good. Do you use selvages for things, Sydney? Like, do you like to, because I know there's a lot of people out there that actually do stuff with like decorative selvages and stuff. I can go a little bit into the selvage. I can actually go about, so if you're wondering, like, put your seam allowance on there like that, and then you can go all the way up to that. And then let's see, that's a slit right there, and then that's a slit there. That'll be okay though. Like, we're barely getting it. Woo! Yeah, I really used to always buy fabric for a project. But it's gotten to the point where sometimes I don't get to go fabric shopping in person, certain places that have garment fabric. And so I definitely have to buy without a project in mind, you know. When I buy online, though, I typically buy for a project. That's no excuse. You know? Alright, so I'm going to have to cut this fold down here now. Alright. We did it! Cue the Dora theme song. Oh, that's cute. Did you guys see that? So that's not bad. See how much selvage is in there? No problem. We'll do French seams for Maria too. I think that would look nice. Did you see that Ruby Star mask panel? I saw Moonlight Quilters has it on pre-order, and you just pay like $4 for the pre-order, and then that gets credited when they get the fabric in. I got 2 panels because I just want them, and you can get 10 masks per panel total, but if you use a lining fabric, you can get 20 masks. So yeah. All right. So now we have our dress number 2, and then does this have binding? All right, I'm going to show you guys how to draft a facing, just in case you don't want to do binding, because I think that there's a lot of folks that shy away from sewing things like this because they have binding. I don't think Maria gave me the instruction thingy. Here's mine. So let's see how she sews the neckline, because I don't think you can hem it. Oh, and I need to do her pockets. I need to do her pockets. I missed it. I missed it. Oh yeah, okay. It's binding. We love binding. I can tell the difference between our patterns because mine is when I pleated it, you know, so I see those pattern pieces in there. All right, so we need pockets and we need binding. I have a pattern piece here. This one might need to be a little bit bigger. Oh, it's actually pretty good. So I need 4 of these. Okay, I can get 4 of this on this piece. So we're still not dipping into her rest of her fabric yet, which is great. Hope she likes it. She's gonna have 2 garments in it. Yeah, right, Sydney? Yeah, they're really cute. I think it'll be fun. I feel like it's a good diversion. I do wanna, Ray, was it you telling me that someone has a tutorial on doing a face shield? Ray, you're awesome. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I have a friend who can imitate that whole little thing so perfectly. It cracks me up. All right, that's 2. You need 4 inseam pockets, and it looks like I'm gonna make this work because I'm gonna use that as my binding, and then I won't have to dip in any of her fabric. It looks like Sonia has a downloadable inseam pocket for her patterns. I'm just using one I already had made, so I don't have to cut Maria's pattern pieces out, because she looks like she downloaded it and taped it together, so it's ready for use. But I'm just gonna use this one here. They're all about the same. All right, so I'm gonna cut some binding, and because I'm pretty sure this binding goes to the inside of the garment, I'll sew it that way. It's harder to sew it that way. I find it easier, like this one here. Do you guys remember this? Sorry, I got poison oak from my husband. I'm not allergic to poison oak, and I can walk through it and it's fine. I've gotten it twice, and I've only ever gotten it from my husband. Once really bad on my leg from the sheets, and this from his pillow. So I've been using the cream, but look at what the cream's doing to my skin. It's making me red. So anyway, this edging here, when I sewed this, I couldn't get the binding to lay really nice and flat on the inside. And so I cheated a little. I was like, you know, I'm not going to force this, because if you force binding to be, when you're sewing it to the inside of the garment rather than straddling around the edge, when it's sewn to the inside, it's really hard to get it to lay flat. It's hard for me, and I feel like I'm pretty darn good at binding. So I let a little tip of the color show. That's how I got around it. I am playing Fabric Ninja. Oh, you haven't, Ray? I thought it was you that said someone had a... Oh, really, Eliza? Oh, that's cute. That reminds me, I want to sew the Sorrento bucket hat, which is a free pattern. That's awesome, Terry, yeah. I love making binding out of little pieces. Oh my gosh. I made cranberry blueberry muffins yesterday, and I also made these chocolate cookies, which have like a thumbprint divot, and you make a little bit of cream cheese, which is just cream cheese and sugar, and then you put raspberry on it. Those are at home waiting for me. All right, so if you're doing your binding to the inside of the garment, I like to cut it 1 inch wide. Now, this isn't on the true bias, but this is rayon, and anything not on the grain line will be bias. Bias means it's stretchy. So here's my little grain line. Here's my grain line tutorial. Remember how at the beginning I was talking about how I was talking about the grain line, right? So just don't think of this as a sleeve, think of it as a piece of paper. So here's a bolt of fabric, right? Here's the fabric coming off the bolt. Here's the edge the fabric store cuts, right? So this is the selvage. There's 2 layers there, right? So there's a fold, and there's a fold. This is the length grain. Cross grain. And then the bias is anything not on those. Anything. True bias is 45 degrees to either of those. But anything not on those green lines is bias. True bias is 45 degrees. Oh, right. I think it does. It might cost $2 now, but I had already downloaded it. You're right. I think that's great, though. I think she's using it as a fundraising effort for something like Black Lives Matter, though, which is great. And so on. Oh, cool, Beverly. For the face shield to the bucket. So, anyway. And then when it's on, not on the length grain and not on the cross grain, there is stretch, right? And so the more on the bias you have it, the stretchier it will get. So here you can see this is the selvage, right? There's no stretch. On the cross grain, it's like, I wouldn't call it stretch, but it does have some pliability like this. And then on the bias, anything that's not on that's going to be a little stretchy. So right here, this is somewhat stretchy. It's about the same as the cross grain. And then if you were to go even more, like here's the length grain. If you were to go to 45-degree angle to that, it's going to be a lot stretchier. Stretchier, the easier it is to kind of bend it to your will. Oh, to sew the bucket. Okay, cool. Yeah, I saw, I think Judith Roslin wearing hers. I was like, that looks fun to sew, to be honest. I just want to sew it. But I would like to know how to do a face shield. I think that I think in some ways people are like, those are kind of goofy, but I think the people wearing them are like, whatever, they're more comfortable. And my husband was like, he went and got us Thai food, and he recognized, it's near his work, and he was at his work, which he isn't really much anymore. And one of the gals there is a mom of some of Cricket's friends. She has triplets and a couple other kids, and so he knows her. And so he said it was so great. She had a face shield, and it was just nice to see her smile and her whole face. And he was like, yeah, that was such a great idea that they just got him face shields, I think it's true. I saw a few people at the farmer's market wearing a face shield, and I was like, yeah, it's nice to be able to see someone's face, Yeah, that's great, Melon. Hey, Vicky, how's it going? Oh, nice. It's very simple to cut out, and I did a little bit of Fabric Ninja stuff on it, as I think it's Beverly said that, or Liza said that. Eliza did, yeah. I'm just going to cut a few pieces of the bias here. If you want a tutorial on how to cut bias, though, I have one in the quick how-tos on my website. And it'll teach you how to cut it, and I have another one for sewing binding, because I'm really into it. If you're here very long, you'll see that I use binding a lot. But let me show you how to make this. I'm itchy, and I get worried that it's more poison oak. It's not. Let me show you how to make your pattern have facings. So if you don't want to sew binding around the neckline here, what you can do is make a facing around the neckline edge. And if you sew it in nicely, you clip your neck curve, make sure the facing is exactly the same shape and size as the edge it's sewing to. It can lay really flat, and then you can also tack it to the shoulder so it doesn't flip out, That's awesome, Vicky. Yeah, you're getting really good at it. Your project bag looks really good. I actually thought that was one I had made since you did one of my kits. Not that I'm saying I'm the best. I'm just saying, I thought it was one of our chicken boots ones that we had sold. So, I'm impressed. So I think 2 inches is a really great width for a facing. If you're using really big seam allowance, I would do a little bit more. So like on this one, she has 1/2 inch seam allowance around the neckline. So I would make your facing about 2.5 inches wide. And this is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna put a parallel line 2.5 inches away. My ruler's 2 inches wide, that's why I'm doing it twice. Like this. And you can even do like this, right? And now draw your line here. Make sure you have a right angle here at the center front. Can you guys even see that? You can't see it, can you? You simply made the hat, then used large snaps on both sides and one in the middle of the brim. So, and it was simple plastic with binding around the edges. Oh, okay. Simple plastic. Okay. This isn't very good, is it? There we go. This is the center front. Here's your neck. Here's your shoulder. Here's your sleeve. Here's your armhole. Okay? So if you're going to do a facing, make sure you have a right angle right here. Oh my God. And then I would make it about 2 to 2.5 inches parallel to your neckline edge here. Okay? Make this a nice smooth line. Make sure you have a right angle here and do your back as well. This is on the fold. Interface it if you need to. And then you're just going to sew this to the neckline. You sew your shoulders together and your front, you know, your front facing and your back facing. So here's your back facing. And then sew your front facing to it at the shoulders. And then you can sew this neckline edge. This is your neckline edge. Just ignore this little line right here. And you can sew that to your neckline of your garment and turn it to the inside. Just sew it right sides together. So, yeah, Ray, someone said sheet protector in my chat too. And I got some out, but the sheet protectors are, let me show you. Well, they're not sheet protectors. I have report covers. I had a box of these. So there's a crease. They're not very stiff, you know? So I'm wondering if I do 2 layers. See, it's not very big either. Would that be big enough? It's not very crystal clear either. I've got vinyl, but mine's all frosted. So anyway, if you want to do a facing, if anyone comments, if I get any comments about how do I sew the facing, I'll try and do that with you tomorrow. I can show you that alternate way to sew the neckline because I think it's a good way to do it. Some of them are it's just tricky to do it on your neckline, you know? So what do you mean the summer's going fast? Your spring gardening, exactly. I feel like gardening, when I've done it, I'm really, really good until like it starts just taking off, and then I'm like, okay, it's fine. Thankfully, that's when my husband usually takes over. He loves tending the garden. So I'll set it up. This is how it used to be. I used to set it up for him, and then he would tend it, and then I would harvest. It's the same in cooking. I don't like tending a pot or a pan, but like I like baking things. I made Aussie American meat pies the other day. It's funny because I've been eating so much vegetarian stuff, but I think it's because when we went to Australia and New Zealand, it was June. And so it's nostalgic, and they've been popping into my head a lot, and I love the way they have a tomatoey sauce, and they're really good. So I used an Australian recipe, but I'm the American who made them, so you know. I didn't have puff pastry for the top, but they turned out really good. I'm pretty happy. Definitely gonna cut down on the meat though, so. Yeah, right, exactly. Facing can be a very polished way to do it. I'm tempted to do that for Maria because I think it's classier. In fact, let's do that. Let's do Maria's with a facing. We have enough fabric here. You know? Ooh, it'll dip into her fabric a little bit. I don't have any scraps because I used it for the pockets. Let's see what I have here. I have... Yeah, she has exactly 1.5 yards left. Do I do that? Watering is your strong point and harvesting is tough, yeah. Yeah, like when things start harvesting, I'm like, we gotta harvest. Having an orchard was a little stressful for me. My neighbor finally, who had lived next to this orchard for like 25 or 30 years, she was like, Sarami, you don't have to harvest every apple. It's okay. If the apples fall on the ground and you can't even get them to the compost bin, it's okay. It's going to feed the land. It's fine. And I was like, okay, that helped me a lot. Because even our compost bin got overwhelmed and it smelled like a distillery. You know? Sometimes Maria's here. She's a mod. She's A Needle Runs Through It. Louise, her username's A Needle Runs Through It. Yeah, right, exactly. You could color block sleeves. Yeah, that would be really cute. That would be really cute, yeah. This is what she sent me, so I don't want to take too much liberties. I don't mind taking liberties making it a facing, because I think it's a nicer neckline. Binding seems really simple because it's less pattern pieces, but it's a little trickier to sew. Or what we do is we do the binding that straddles the neck edge. That's easier to sew. I mean, yeah, it is. Good for the environment. Exactly. A Needle Runs Through It. Yeah, you've seen her in stream. Save the apples, right, Sydney? I went through a lot of apples. You've heard me talk about it. That's why I got so into juice making, is because you could use a 5-gallon bucket of apples like that, you know? And we had wheelbarrows full. The jumper pinafore was the Elizabeth Shannon apron by Audacier. Or Ellen Mason. She has an Etsy store. I don't know if it's under Audacier or Ellen Mason, though, but it's the Elizabeth Shannon apron. Yeah, I think so, too. Let's do the facing. Let's do the facing. I will make my pattern pieces with this scrap. Can I do it? We'll see. Oof. Maybe. I use my tracing wheel. Okay. I might trim off that seam allowance too, but maybe I'll just do that when I'm sewing it. I don't usually cut out pattern pieces with my rotary knife. Okay, and now we have the front. Ooh, I think I can do it. Look at that. You get kind of good at knowing what you can fit in pattern pieces you're not going to use anymore. When you've done it a lot. So. Yeah, right, Penny? Exactly. I mean, that's the thing, is like doing the binding as the neckline finish and it going to the inside, I can't either. It's really hard. So, we had 15 apple trees on an acre. We had a cherry, a peach, a hazelnut, a fig, a pear. So, yeah, there you go. In for the Zoom. Yeah, the Zoom class would be really. Thanks for pushing me, you guys. I think that would be really fun. It makes me a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie about that. Yeah, I've thought about doing the beginning classes, and I was like, okay, what if I did it so that you could download something and then follow along, you know? And then you could also do the Zoom class and, you know, have any, you know, questions, or we could do, okay, now do this. How'd that go? Show me what you got, you know? Let's keep this close to the edge here. Let's see. Let me get this. Our hardware store up in Paradise, it was like a combination. It was big. It was like a combination Target, Rite Aid, which is like a Walgreens or a CVS, you know, like a drugstore. They had the most random assortment of stuff. It was kind of funny and great. And so great. I mean, so great that that hardware store survived for all the people up there rebuilding and needing stuff, you know? It just popped into my head. Having a little trouble keeping that accurate. There we go. I think I'm going to use some interfacing too. All right, so we left her most of her fabric. Phew. Oh, that's cool. Do you think so do you think that that's the way to do that, Louise? Like do it by a pattern? So teach a pattern instead, rather than like techniques. You know, like rather than saying, oh, we're going to focus on binding. Oh, this isn't big enough. Oh, this one might be. Or today we're going to do facings, lots of different ways of facings, or set-in sleeves. You think that would be better to do like a specific garment? I think you have to pay for permission for a lot of those too. I don't know. I mean, it's interesting you would. Like, if someone buys the pattern, you know? It's like having a personal sewing teacher. Like I said, I like using the fabric because it's a little more stable when you get to put it on fabric. I don't use a lot of regular like interfacings, but they're totally great. You can use them if you want. I'm just not a huge fan. I like fabric for my interfacings. Works great. Sometimes I want something stouter, you know, like the fusibles, but it's kind of rare. I don't even use them in denim. I especially don't use them in denim, actually. Did I already cut that? I didn't feel like I was cutting anything. All right, there's one. All right, so we're gonna sew this with a facing. So for all of you folks, Like, ooh, I want to sew this. So I started it, and then I was like, oh, I don't want to do the binding. I got you. All right. It's my interfacing bin. Yeah, so I've done that, Ray. I did that locally. We did the willow tank. I didn't get permission, though, because they all had to buy the pattern to do it. I didn't hand out the pattern, right? I could see if you were handing out the pattern, like, okay, here's the class, and it includes the pattern, and you have to, right? All right, I'll think about it. I just need to figure that out. I feel like it would be a lot of work, and then I need to figure out a way to kind of, finance what I'm doing, right? And so that would be an interesting avenue. I don't know. There's a lot of free information out there. Why would someone pay for it? That's the way I look at it. Yeah, Eliza, they're encouraging me to do Zoom classes because I kind of asked, and Summer brought it up early on. I've been kind of thinking about it ever since I took the class from Sarah Watts. So what it is that you get an hour-long class with her, and then there's a Zoom meeting, a follow-up, and I kind of like that, Are you a Zoom pro now, Eliza? Could I consult with you? My husband uses a Google thing. Hi, Nancy. Who's Nancy Pollard? I don't know. Who's that gal? Yeah, we're kind of done. Nice to see you, Nancy. It's been a while. How you been? All right, so we cut out the dress number 2, and then my patchwork pants, which should be fun. Yeah, Microsoft Teams, that's what it is, Eliza. Yeah. Yeah, my husband uses the Teams. He loves it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my sister too. We just talk about sewing, Nancy. We don't sew. We just cut things out. So Nancy, on Saturday, everyone turned me on to this thing called Jelly Roll Race quilt. And we're going to do it in August. Yeah, mine too, Nancy. I am with you. Oh, Google Hangouts. Maybe that's it. No, he does Teams. So it's supposedly we all have a jelly roll, and then we sew the quilt together at the same time. So we're going to do it live on stream. Oh, great, Liz. That's great information, because I'm kind of interested too, because I don't know, there's just something about the way she taught that class that really appealed to me. Yeah, I know. And then the one-on-one. Well, Andrea from Sew to Fit, if you guys are ever looking for fitting things, Andrea does that on her Patreon. She has live one-on-ones with people. She's really good. I'm good at fitting, but I don't feel like it's my strongest thing. As far as knowing the home sewing terminology for it, I'm so industry trained, which is a little different. So yeah, so okay, I'll keep thinking about it. Yeah, the Jelly Roll Race quilt, something like that. Yeah, so we're going to do that in August, Nancy. So get your jelly roll or make one. A jelly roll, apparently, I'm new to quilting, everyone, so even the new people here, these guys can explain it better. But a jelly roll is 2.5-inch wide strips of fabric, cut the width of the fabric. And so you can find these jelly rolls. They're in fabric stores. They're beautiful. They're rolled up fabric strips, and they look really pretty, and they're really enticing. And I started to buy them even when I wasn't quilting, because they're so they have an evil lure about them for me. And you apparently just take one and you sew it together. So like you sew all the strips together some way. I don't know. Yeah, that's true, Ray. I agree with you on that. Because sometimes you're like, she'll say, "So, does anyone have questions?" And I'm like, "I don't have questions, but I don't want this to be done." And then someone will have a question. I'm like, "Ooh, good question. I'm learning." Yeah, Louise. Yeah. So it's called the Jelly Roll Race quilt. I want to do some fun things for August because it's my anniversary. Yeah, Nancy, you want to see? Tell me, is this Becky Homeki or what? Sorry, Becky's. So I pieced a bunch of fabric together on Saturday, and then at the bottom I did some solid, which is a little lopsided, but that was a way to kind of calm it down. Oh, the back has a little bit more. I think each of my legs is going to look a little different, even though I kind of lined it up. Yeah, I did that on Saturday, kind of pieced it together. Keep talking, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be fun. Louise, you can be our referee then. You can cheer us on. I want to make 2 twin size quilts, and I actually want something to cover my couch too. But I'm not going to do all those. I honestly just want to get some solid fabric and quilt it, have it quilted. I just want to like get a bolt of fabric and say, here, pick a nice design and quilt it. And then I'm going to make a blanket that fits my couch so that it goes like over the back and the seat and then over the arms. That's what I want. I see those for sale, but they're ugly, and I want one that looks cute. There's probably nice ones out there. I just haven't seen one, you know. It's like homemade dress, yeah. Without the 80s vibe. It's more got the cat lady vibe. Cool. Well, he's all right. Cool. All right, guys. Well, tomorrow, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be here sewing this. There's a chance I may do this Friday. I know I scheduled this out, but my cat, remember I told you Senor is having this weird like bronchitis thing. He's lost all this weight, and now he's on steroids. Well, on Saturday, all of a sudden, by the time I got home from streaming on Saturday, he had like a golf ball on his back. So it was an abscess, and so now he has to go back to the vet tomorrow. So he was there yesterday. What was it, Liz? The patchwork? This? What did I just show you? I think I was just showing Nancy these. I cut these out at the beginning of the stream. So on Saturday on stream, since we had a free day, because I sewed shorts last week and they were supposed to be part 1, part 2, and I sewed them all in once. So I didn't have anything to stream Saturday. So I created fabric to make these pants, and I'm making, see, this is the dress I'm making, and this is in pants. Same company. Yeah. So, oh, Malin, cool. I know, Sydney. Yeah. He's okay right now, but it does not look good. Like, it looks pretty ugly. He has a drain. It's bad. It happened like that, you guys. He was fine in the morning. I'm watching him really closely because of the bronchitis, you know? And the vet was really nice. She called me last night. She's like, so how's Senor doing? I was like, well, he's doing pretty good, you know. She's like, yeah, he's still lost a tiny bit more weight. And it's probably because of this infection. Yeah, so the whole backstory on this is that I've every time I go to make something, I'm like, maybe I'll try using some of my fabric scraps and patching it together. And then I'm like, don't do that. It's not going to look great. It's going to look the home sew thing, you know. He's the black one, right, Louise? Exactly. And I don't know. And I see these really cool posts on Instagram by the So Over 50 crowd and other folks. And then I saw Judith Roslin, who started So Over 50, post this really great patchwork shirt she did. And I'm like, those are great. And then Grainline just posted, I think, an Archer yesterday. One of you even sent it to me on Instagram. Really cute patchwork top. I think it was Gina that sent it to me. So I was like, all right, I can do this. And then, so this is what I made. I just made strips. I got some advice from a quilter. And then this is what I made. And obviously I like cats, right? Black and white cats. Yeah, bye, Eliza. Have a good meeting. Yeah, I know. Poor Senor is having a bad 2020, like the rest of us. So at least they finally discovered that the reason he's losing all this weight is some sort of bronchitis, probably, that he somehow got last winter. And then, but he doesn't act like he has anything. That's the crazy thing. Like, he sounds fine, but his breathing looks labored. And then when they're on this kind of steroid, it can make them a little more susceptible to skin infections. And so that's what happened. So he must have had some sort of scratch. And it could have been like a couple weeks old. And something spooked him out on the deck right after we moved into this place. So he's having a bad month. Yeah. He's also been the least expensive animal I've ever had until this month. Good thing Cricket's not going off to college this fall. Yeah, thanks. I know. Meanwhile, my other cat's suddenly an outdoor cat, and he just lives out there and we can't get him in. And Senor's terrified to go out there when he was always the outdoor cat. It's so weird. But so Michael said he thinks he can take him tomorrow, but he has an 11:20 appointment, which is right when I stream. So he's hopefully going to be able to do it. And if not, I'll let you guys know, and I'll probably have to postpone the stream till Friday, because I don't think I can go there and back with him and then come back here. So I live like 20 miles away now. So, all right, that's enough. All right, so I'll see you tomorrow unless you hear from me. You can look on Instagram for my updated schedule if I need to change it. 11 a.m. Pacific. I'm in California. My name is Sarami, and we'll be sewing these. I'm on Patreon if you want to support me there. I do have some patterns on there for free, and I'm trying to post more on there. But yeah, mainly it's to support the stream. And then all the things we've made, and there's been a lot of them, are on my website. So you can look at soso.live and see, like, has she ever made the Archer button up by Grainline? And you can go on there and look, and then you can find links to all the videos. I usually stream Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, summer. In the summer right now, I might taper it back a little here and there. So for July, I actually have a schedule. I show you what I'm going to make for this month. Is it this one? Yeah, so for this month, we're right now in the week of July 15, 16, and 18. So those are the blue items. I'm making dress number 2 and pant number 1. And then next I'll be making the men's shirt, the Fairfield button-up by Thread Theory Designs. And then in August will be my 2-year streaming anniversary. So I'll have some, oh, cool. Oh, yeah, Bobby Clover. She's another one that I do follow her. That's great, Ray. I'm glad to hear that. You set your alarm. Yeah, Nancy. Get here on time. In August, I was going to do like a bra August. But I've never actually sewn a bra. It's the only thing I have never sewn. And I'm not as gung-ho on that idea. There's so many people doing amazing bra making stuff and information and tutorials. I don't really feel like I need to fill that void. But I will be doing some underwear. I'm going to be doing some men's underwear. And then I'm going to do the jelly roll race with you guys. And probably something else kind of fun. I'm not sure yet. Short sleeves, Louise. Did you want a shirt sleeve tutorial? I could cut one out and do shirt sleeve. I like doing shirt sleeves. I'll do that. I'll throw that in there next week. I can do it with the binding placket or the shirt sleeve placket. I can do both. I'm going to do short just because it's summer. But I'll just do a separate sleeve for that. The bottom part if you want the placket. That's why I'm assuming you're asking that. I get a lot of people asking for that. And I like sewing those, so. All right, well, I will hopefully see you tomorrow. Most likely, I think Michael said he thought he could rearrange. He has meetings all day, usually. So, all right, well, welcome all the newcomers. Thanks so much for coming and talking. And if you can, like, and you can subscribe. If you click the little, on YouTube, there's a bell. And if you click it, it'll let you say, do you want notifications on for this channel? And then it'll let you know anytime I post something new. If you don't want to have to keep track of when I'm live, that helps. But you don't have to. You know, you can just kind of look on Instagram for my schedule and we'll see. Okay, Louise, yeah, absolutely. For you, of course. Yeah. Are you doing you manage the placket, you're struggling with the the cuff, okay. I'm definitely, yeah, well, if I was doing short sleeve, I wouldn't do the cuff. Yeah, we'll just do that. I've done it before on the Archer. I enjoyed having you too, Summer. Thanks for coming. Yeah, so, yeah, tomorrow 11 a.m., Saturday 11 a.m. Pacific, and, yeah, enjoy. All right, I'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow, and thanks so much for coming.